Hi everyone, welcome back to Self-Discovery Support. This is your message and we're going to do a reading, and I chose a card. I was led to choose this card, Letting Go of Panic. So what we're talking about here is if you are dealing with something that is making you feel panicked, or panic message here is for those experiencing it, and I equate that to anxiety as well. If you are experiencing anxiety, panic will take my mind off my goals. It's normal to feel panic, although I will say when you're experiencing panic, it doesn't feel normal. But I simply feel it and let it go. I can get back on track by treading water until I regain my composure. I relax and know that all is well. So I think what's happening is when you talk about treading water, you're talking about doing something that takes your mind off of it, doing something repetitive, doing something that engages your body, your physical, in order to get in touch with something higher than the panic, right? Panic is all these things that are out of balance, all these things you feel out of control from, but something like having to tread in water and just move your limbs, even if we talk about that metaphorically, it's just something. So I don't know, some people, I like to sew, like to embroider. That takes my mind off of panic or anxiety. Something like breathing is actually well known, well documented, and that is linked to meditation. But that's my 2 cents. So I wanted to I got some cards from the Creativity Oracle. This card comes from the Letting Go, Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty. And we have the Creativity Oracle. This comes from the, I can't remember the names, but I think it's Farba. But they're the makers of the Enchanted Tarot as well, the creators of it. We have Nurture and Go Deeper. So this is what I was talking about, self-care. Try loving and nurturing yourself as you would a child or a pet. So that's the thing, right? I think sometimes panic sets in because we have neglected ourselves. Really, we don't listen to when something is wrong. We don't listen to our body when something is wrong. And Go Deeper here telling us expressing the deeper meanings in life while staying attuned to childlike wonder is at the heart of all great art. And your life is art, right? You are creating throughout your life. What I see here is when you go back to that state where, when you were a child, things were really uncomplicated. Well, for many, some people had a very complex childhood. And I think that's what leads us to this state, is when you did have a complex childhood and that childlike wonder escapes us, right? So it's about seeing if we can maybe look at something like looking up at the clouds. That's something that a lot of kids do. Or drawing with crayons. Even if you're an adult, try drawing with a box of Crayola crayons on paper. How does that make you feel? It's just fun, and it allows you to escape that very tight, built-up feeling that is there with anxiety and panic. Alright, so I'm gonna do some tarot to get some more messages for you. So I want to find out what can people do to let go of panic? Tell us more about letting go of panic. All right, we have 7 of Cups. We have Strength. And we have the King of Pentacles, right? So actually this is such a good pull for that because It's about seeing the options that are in front of you. I think something like panic can, sometimes you feel you don't have choices, you don't have options, and that's why you feel boxed in. Like we all know that feeling, like something is due, or you somebody makes you feel you have to do something and you feel boxed in. And this is telling us about the fact that we do have options always, unless you are physically chained to like a wall or something like that. If you are a free human being walking around, even if we are beholden to people, maybe monetarily, it's still your choice. You still get to choose. It's also telling us here about strength. It's about drawing on that inner composure, that inner fortitude, that lion that lives within, right? And just knowing that because I create options for myself, because I can rely on myself. And that's a really important part, right? Is knowing that you can rely on yourself. That is the strength. And that is going to help us feel calmer. And then we have the King of Discs. Like, what an appropriate card to come out. The King of Discs is really stable. Look at that word that's there. The keyword says power. But really, the King of Discs power comes from knowing that they have all kinds of abilities, not feeling like they need to exercise anything. They're just stable, secure, grounded. And because of that, they're able to hold the world in their hands. And that's, I think, the power of calm, the power of groundedness. So it's like knowing, I think as you do more for yourself, as you do, and you prove to yourself, even in small ways, right? So like being a King of Pentacles could be like, this month I was able to pay my rent. I worked and I got money and I whatever I did, and I was able to take care of myself. I was able to feed my child. I was able to do whatever it is to take care of the life I want, and feeling abundant within that. I have a circle of friends, or I have things that, material things I've accumulated, or I have a little bit of savings and I'm putting like a teeny bit in each month. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's those small things or big things, depending on how long you've been at this and the scale of what you're doing, that brings that sense of groundedness for anyone. So I think that is actually a really good message, knowing that if you are feeling, I feel like this message goes out to people maybe who are feeling like they're underwater, that they may be, how to say that, like drowning, like things are rising above their head. There's a lot coming down on them. But I think that's because we fight, the water. None of the things that you're doing will have the impact in the things that mean serious things in your life. So if you're at work and you have like a desk full of things to complete, a lot of us workaholics like to, feel that we must do it, or our worth kind of is connected to that. But if you just said to yourself, just step back, maybe think about yourself, visualize yourself treading in water, and as you're thinking, you say, well, okay, which of these things is a priority? Like if I were ill, if I got the flu and I couldn't come to work, would any of these things kind of cause the company to crash or whatever it is? And if there is one thing like that, then focus on that one thing, right? It's going to tell you like that's the thing, and let the rest stay. So that's just like an example of how we can get perspective when we're feeling panicked and anxious. And make sure to give yourself care. Treat yourself like a child or a pet. I really like that. I like that message. I want to tell you how much of your message this is. Here's me kicking my camera. Yeah. How much of this is your message is, this is what came at the bottom of the deck. Nine of Swords. Like, this is the anxiety card of the tarot. So we do know that this is your reading. This is the context. The message is definitely for those who are feeling anxiety. And look at that. I had no idea that was there. We have fear and temperance. So the counter to anxiety is the balancing, the centering. For these two to come out together like that is, I don't know, that's not coincidence, right? That is clear messages coming through. Yeah. When you are feeling anxious, when you are feeling that, I think one of the things I like to do is visualize myself actually at a beach and feel like the sea, the air, the wind, all of that, the smells of salt and all of that together. Even you might hear birds. Those are the things that I do to create peace when it's needed. Do that, and that is a form of meditation. That is a form of visualization, which is, I think, easier for many of us. And there you are. There's a strong theme here of like water coming out for you. Yeah, we have temperance and we have that card here. We do have cups as well. We have the 7 of cups. So it's a strong like watery energy, which tells me that maybe a lot of this has to do with getting in touch with emotions. We do have the moon here, so that also confirms for me that there is something hidden. There may be things that you are dealing with that maybe need to be addressed. Let me pull something for that. What do we do for those experiencing this? Okay, these two just came out. The Hierophant and the Princess of Cups. So the Hierophant tells us about spiritual guidance, tells us about mentorship. So is there someone that you can reach out to in your community? Is there kind of spiritual support that you can tap into that's going to help with that? And guidance, right? Just, is there guidance that you can access? I don't necessarily mean that it's necessarily a church, but are there community organizations? Are there any kind of other types of social help? And the Princess of Cups is like the Page of Cups. It's like remembering those giddy feelings. It's really a lot like this card about childlike wonder. Those new ideas, like tap into your intuition as well. And really, this is about going back to something that is maybe less stressful, more youthful energy, accessing that within. So it's also about getting the kind of spiritual guidance, but also probably about the intuition, going back to the inner place as well. All right, so I want to get a last message for you. What's the last message here? 6 of Wands. I can't write that, right? You cannot write that. Stability. With all of this, you will be able to access stability even in your monetary, because you might be anxious about the monetary as well. But what I find is that you actually cannot focus on earning. You cannot focus on what you need to do to create abundance in your life if you are feeling constantly anxious and you don't have the mechanisms of self-care to deal with yourself, right? Because it's yourself, it's you that needs to generate the abundance energy, and that is not going to happen if we are constantly feeling in a box like we're underwater. And 6 of Wands here, clear message. You will have success if you are able to do these things. Nurture yourself, take care of yourself. Try to tap into your childlike wonder. Try to tap into your emotions. Access the help that's around. And also, remember those ideas that come to you, the intuition, the intuitive hits. Don't take those things for granted. Those are things that are your inner voice speaking to you to help you through this. All right, this is your reading. If you enjoyed, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and take care. I'll see you again.